Alright, this is lesson 92, completing the square with hyperbolas. So, in this section, you're going to get the equations given to you. There's these long equations. You have to know how to complete the square to put them in the right format or the right form. So, the standard form of any equation, either a circle, ellipse, hyperbola, and then we're going to do parabolas in a few days here. Okay, so those are the four, but we only know three. So we're going to focus on hyperbolas, but tonight's homework is going to have three of them. So you're going to have to figure out how to get through them. Usually the steps are the same, but we're going to go through that. Here are the steps we've been using for complete the square. Here we go. So write down number one for me, please. I'll give you a moment to do that. Alright, so working these out. So on all of them, you always start, I'll show you number one only today, and then number two we'll do together, because we've done this before. So on number one, you always take your constants and move them over to the opposite side. So we have minus 175, so the opposite of minus 175 is add 175. So we're going to add 175 to both sides and rewrite the equation. When I rewrite, I'm going to put all my x terms together and all my y terms together. So we got negative 4x squared plus 64x plus 9y squared minus 90y is equal to 0 plus 175, which is equal to just 175. Okay? That's the first step. So we moved the constants over and we reorganized everything. Alright? We want to complete the square now, but in order to complete the square, we need a to be equal to 1. Is a equal to 1 here? No, it's equal to negative 4. So whenever a is equal to something other than 1, we have to divide a by itself, or factor out a. So in this case, we have to factor out a negative 4. Okay? So, since it's negative 4 here, so we're going to factor out a negative 4. Open parentheses. We know that negative 4 times x squared is equal to negative 4x squared. And negative 4 times negative 16x is equal to positive 64x. Then I'm going to leave a little space and close the parentheses and continue rewriting my problem. While I'm at it, I'm noticing my y's. For a, there's a 9 here. We don't want a to be 9, so we have to factor out a positive 9 here. Open parentheses, y squared. 9 times negative 10y is equal to negative 90y, close parentheses, which is all equal to 175. So all I really did was I just factored out the a, okay? Because we need to do that to complete the square properly. All right? Next, looking at negative 16. Half of negative 16 is negative 8. Negative 8 squared is 64, so I'm adding 64. Okay? Whatever I do to one side, I do to the opposite side. But I didn't just add 64. I'm really adding 64 times negative 4. What's 64 times negative 4? Negative 256. So I'm going to, what I really did when I added 64 here, I was really adding negative 256, so I have to add it on the opposite side. Okay? Same thing here. Half of negative 10 is negative 5. Negative 5 squared is positive 25. 25 times 9 is 225. So I'm going to add 225 here and add 25 here. Because whatever I did to one side, I do it to the opposite side as well. Okay? I've taught you that before. Raise your hand if you remember that step from last time. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to draw a line. We know this left side now. These are perfect square trinomials, so I'm going to bring down my factor, negative 4. And then we know this is a perfect square trinomial, so we take the square root of x squared, which is x. Half of negative 16 is negative 8. Square that, and we're going to leave that there. Then we're going to bring down the positive 9. We have square root of y is y, or square root of y squared is y. Half of negative 10 is negative 5, so we have y minus 5, all squared. Okay. Then we're going to add these together. 175 plus 225 is 400. 400 minus 256 is 144. Okay. Now at this point you need to, all the steps are the same, but at this point we need to figure out, is it a circle, ellipse, hyperbola, or parabola? Okay. We haven't done parabolas yet, so we know it's not that. But what is it? What do you think it is at this point?
Circle.
Nope. Why is it not a circle? How do we know it's a hyperbola? Correct, but what if I didn't tell you that? What's the big clue? Okay, the big clue here, we know it's a hyperbola because there's a negative sign in front of this term. You see that there's a negative here? You see that? Hyperbola is the only one that has a minus sign, right? You all get that? So since we know it's a hyperbola, we know that 144 can't be 144. This needs to be 1. So how do I make 144 1? We divide both sides by 144. Okay? And when I divide one side, I have to do the same thing to the opposite side to each term. Okay? Because I know that 144 divided by 144 is equal to 1, right? Now on this left side, I know that 36 goes in the 144 4 times. Okay, so I'm going to simplify. I'm going to bring down the negative sign, so this will be negative, open parentheses, x minus 8, all squared, all over 36. Okay, and then on the right side, we know that 9 goes in the 144 16 times. So we're just going to bring down the plus sign, y minus 5 squared, all over 16, which is all equal to 1. Okay? At this point, you could say we're done, but we're not really done because we want the positive term to be first. You see how this is a big minus sign right here? We want the positive term to be first, so we're going to rewrite this taking this term on the right. We're going to move it over here to the left. Okay, so rewriting it y minus 5 all squared over 16, all minus x minus 8 squared over 36, which is equal to 1. Okay, that's number 1. Why did I switch it? Because there's a minus sign here. I don't really like using minus signs to start my expressions off, so I wanted the positive one. And now I know what kind of hyperbola is this? Major X or major Y? What's my center?
5, 8.
Nope.
8, 5.
8, 5, good. What's your A?
6, 4. 4.
B?
6.
Good. Okay, did y'all get that?
No.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do right now, I'm just doing one because they take so long. I want you to discuss. And specifically, I'm going to put a star by this step right here. I put a star here because I want you to ask yourself and discuss with your neighbor, how did I know that this was a hyperbola at this point? Why did I divide by 144? Okay, and this is really the step you need to be checking. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is turn to your neighbor and do that. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to talk and to catch up on writing. Ready, set, go. All right, so number 2, what should you do first? Turn to your neighbor, discuss. What would you do first? Okay, what are we doing first? Add 2 and 7 to both sides, that's right. Okay, and then I also heard while I'm rewriting this, what am I supposed to do as I'm rewriting it?
Put the variables together.
Yeah, we want to organize everything, okay? So we're rewriting everything with intention. We're organizing everything so that we have the right terms together, okay? Okay, now we want to make sure that we can complete the square. Can we complete the square on the x's the way it is? Yes. Why? A is equal to 1. Good, okay. What about the y's? Can we complete the square on the y's yet? No, why not? Because what? A is equal to -4. So how do I get, what do I need to do with A, or what do I need to do with the y's to get rid of this -4? Or 2? Factor it out, okay? We're going to factor the y's, the -4 from the y's, okay? So write down -4 underneath the y term, and then we're going to open parentheses, and we have to think, what goes in the parentheses first? Y squared, good. And then? Nope. Plus 12. Thank you. Y. Leave a little space. And then we said the x terms are fine, so we're going to bring the rest of the problem down, okay? Alright, let's start completing the square. What's half of 18? 9. 9 squared is? 81. So I want to add 81 here. Do I need to multiply 81 with anything? No. It's good. It doesn't need to be multiplied because we are truly adding 81 to this side. So I don't get confused, I'm going to add parentheses around here. And then we're going to add 81 on this right side too. Okay? Good. Now let's do the y terms. What's half of 12? 6 squared? Okay, so I'm going to add 36 on the left side, but what am I really just adding 36 on the left side? How much am I really adding or subtracting?
144.
What?
144.
What am I doing with 144?
Adding to the
Adding? Nope, not adding. Subtracting 144, right? Because 36 times negative 4 is negative 144. So we need to make sure we subtract that, right? Did y'all get that? So now let's draw a line across, and we're going to simplify. This right side, 207 plus 81 minus 144 is 144, correct, okay? Okay, left side, what's this factored? What's this trinomial? This x squared plus 18x. How would I factor that?
plus 9 squared.
Okay, x plus 9 squared, good. What about this next one? What would this y term be factored as?
Why do you get 4
Ti-
times y plus 6?
Good, negative 4 plus y plus 6 squared. Okay, this is the star step now. Okay, so I'm going to put a star by here because this is the point on every problem. Once you get here, you need to ask yourself, is it a circle, ellipse, hyperbola, or parabola? On this one, what do you think it is? Ellipse. Okay, how do you know it's an ellipse? Because there's a minus sign in the middle. Did we ever have a minus sign for ellipses? Come on, kids, you could have a big test. It's one of your last big tests here. Is it an ellipse? Yes or no? No, why not?
The plus is on the side.
Good. Ellipses do not have minus signs. Do ellipses have minus signs? No. On the outside of the parentheses, they do not have minus signs. Turn your neighbor, tell me, ellipses do not have minus signs.
Ellipses do not have minus signs.
Turn your neighbor behind you and tell them, ellipses do not have minus signs. Okay. Okay, good. So we know it's not an ellipse. What else? Is it a circle or a hyperbola? How do you know it's a hyperbola?
It's not a circle.
How do you know it's not a circle?
Minus sign.
Because of the minus sign. Good. This minus sign totally changes the game. We have this minus sign here. It's like, oh, hyperbola. Okay? So, since it's a hyperbola, we know this right side needs to be 144. Okay? How do I make this right side 144? Divide by? Good. Okay. Whatever I do to one side, I do the opposite. So let's keep going here. We're going to divide each term by 144. Can I simplify this first fraction at all? No. What about the second fraction?
36.
Yeah, 4 goes into 4 once, and it goes into 144 36 times. So we're just going to rewrite this x plus 9 squared all over 144 minus y plus 6 squared all over 36, which is all equal to 1. What? Okay. I thought you said something. Okay, that's how you do number 2. Do we have to rewrite anything here on the second one? Nope, because the minus sign's already in the middle. You all see that? Okay. Okay, that's a good question. How do you know it's an ellipse? So, I'll do one more slide here. How do you know? Okay, so a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, which is equal to r squared, right? That's a circle. We know that's a circle, and so what's the sign in front of this x minus h squared? Plus or minus? It's a positive sign. That means we should have a positive x minus h squared, positive y minus k squared, and then there should be our denominators both here. We need to assume that they're 1, right? They're both 1. We're assuming that, but I'm not going to put that because we're assuming that. And then r squared, right? That's how we know it's a circle. Plus and r squared. You got it? How do we know it's an ellipse? Okay. An ellipse is going to be similar, very similar. We're going to have a positive first term, so x minus h squared all over a squared plus y minus k squared all over b squared, which is equal to 1, okay? So these two denominators must be different. What happens if both of these denominators are the same? It's a circle. Did you get that? Because then we would just multiply everything by a squared, which really is r squared, right? And it would be moved over here. Okay, so we know it's an ellipse when we have different denominators and it's positive and positive. Follow me? Okay, last one, hyperbola. How do we know it's a hyperbola? Copy. I'll just get a. I'm going to copy the equation for ellipse. The only difference here is that one of these will be minus. Okay, it's going to be plus minus or minus plus. Okay, does that make sense? So it's going to be positive x squared, negative y squared, or negative x squared, positive y squared. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens if it's negative negative?
It's a parabola.
No. It's an ellipse. Blow your mind. No, it's an ellipse, okay?
We need to know that.
No, but you should know conceptually. The thing with math, you need to know how to work the numbers. If you have negative, negative, then there's a reason why. If all the terms are negative, then you would make them all positive by multiplying all the terms by a negative sign. Okay? And then parabola, I won't go into it in too much detail, but a parabola will be... Parabola is interesting because you'll either have x squared or you'll have n plus y is equal to 1, or this is in the form, or it could be y squared plus x is equal to 1. Okay, this is just a real basic form right here. Okay, but parabola is going to either be x squared and not y squared, or y squared and not x squared. Does that make sense? But don't worry about that today. I'm just going to erase that because I don't want you to get confused. Don't even write that down. Okay, that's just a little sneak peek of what's coming up. Okay? Right there. It's exciting. I'm going to let it flash up there for a little bit. Okay? Alright. That's it. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. So I'm going to end the lesson there.